Ladies and gentlemen, before you conquer the world, before you inspire others, before you achieve greatness, you must first learn to deal with yourself. Life is not only about external challenges, it is equally about internal battles. Many of us try to fix what's happening around us while neglecting what's happening within us. The truth is, the strongest walls and the greatest victories are built from the inside out. Self-awareness is the foundation upon which personal growth is built. It is the ability to look within yourself honestly and recognize who you are beyond the roles you play in society. Too often, people become so busy chasing success, meeting expectations, or comparing themselves to others that they lose sight of their true identity. Self-awareness requires pausing for a moment and asking, what are my true strengths? What are my weaknesses? What drives me and what holds me back? This practice of reflection is not easy, but it is essential, because without knowing yourself deeply, you cannot move forward with clarity or purpose. When you become self-aware, you gain a better understanding of your habits and behaviors. For instance, you may notice how you react under pressure, how you handle criticism, or how your emotions influence your decisions. Many people go through life on autopilot, repeating patterns that harm their growth simply because they do not recognize them. Awareness shines a light on these blind spots. Once you see them, you gain the power to make conscious change. Instead of being controlled by unconscious habits, you begin to shape your life with intention. Another crucial part of self-awareness is understanding your values and priorities. Ask yourself what truly matters to you, not what society says should matter, but what gives you meaning and fulfillment. This clarity acts like a compass, guiding you toward choices that align with your authentic self. For example, if you value integrity, you will avoid paths that compromise honesty, even if they promise quick rewards. If you value growth, you will push yourself to learn and evolve, even when it is uncomfortable. Self-awareness makes your decisions consistent with your deeper self, which in turn brings peace and confidence. Moreover, self-awareness fosters stronger relationships with others. When you know yourself, you communicate better, handle conflicts with maturity, and set healthy boundaries. People often misunderstand each other not because they lack communication skills, but because they lack self-understanding. When you are aware of your triggers, emotions, and tendencies, you interact more thoughtfully and avoid unnecessary conflicts. Self-awareness allows you to show up authentically in your relationships, and authenticity is the root of trust and respect. Accountability is not a burden. It is one of the greatest forms of personal strength. When you choose to take responsibility for your life, you reclaim control over your destiny. Too often, people spend their energy blaming circumstances, luck, or other individuals for their setbacks. While this may temporarily ease their frustration, it ultimately leaves them powerless because the focus remains on what is outside their control. Accountability shifts that perspective. It reminds you that while you cannot control everything that happens to you, you can control how you respond, how you learn, and how you move forward. This realization is empowering because it places the keys to change directly in your hands. Taking accountability also builds discipline. When you accept that your choices create your results, you begin to measure your actions more carefully. Excuses no longer have room to grow, and procrastination loses its grip. For example, instead of saying, "I didn't have time," accountability forces you to admit, "I didn't manage my time well." This honesty may feel uncomfortable at first, but it sparks improvement. Over time, such discipline transforms small efforts into big achievements and failures into lessons that guide you towards success. By owning your mistakes instead of hiding from them, you create a solid foundation for growth and resilience. Another dimension of accountability is the trust it builds with others. People naturally respect and admire those who own their words and actions. In a world where many avoid responsibility, being accountable sets you apart as someone reliable and trustworthy. Whether in friendships, work environments, or leadership roles, accountability strengthens relationships because it shows humility, maturity, and consistency. When people see that you take ownership not only of successes but also of failures, they are more likely to trust your character and follow your example. Accountability, therefore, does not only elevate you personally, but also enhances the quality of your connections with others. Accountability is also a source of inner confidence. When you constantly blame others, you give away your power and begin to feel helpless. But when you hold yourself accountable, you realize that you are capable of directing your own path. Each time you face a mistake and learn from it, you reinforce the belief that you can overcome difficulties. This builds a deep, unshakable confidence, one that does not rely on perfect circumstances, but thrives even in challenges. Accountability teaches you that setbacks are not the end, but stepping stones towards strength. And when you embrace this mindset, you discover that personal power is not in avoiding mistakes, but in taking responsibility and rising stronger each time. Fear is one of the greatest barriers to growth, and yet it is also one of the most natural emotions we experience as human beings. Everyone has fears. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of loss, or even fear of change. What separates those who succeed from those who remain stagnant is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it. When you avoid fear, it only grows stronger, feeding on your hesitation and keeping you trapped in the comfort zone. But when you confront it head-on, you weaken its hold and discover strength you never knew existed within you. Facing your fears is not about pretending they do not exist, but about acknowledging them and choosing to act in spite of them. The process of facing fears begins with honesty. Many people hide behind excuses or distractions instead of admitting what they are truly afraid of. For example, someone might say they are not ready to start a new project, when in reality they are afraid of failing. Recognizing your fear strips it of its disguise and makes it less intimidating. Once you name it, you can work through it. Avoiding fear may feel safe in the short term, but in the long run, it robs you of opportunities, growth, and experiences that could change your life for the better. Courage, therefore, is not the absence of fear, but the decision to keep moving forward even when fear whispers otherwise. Another reason to face your fears is that they often guard the very breakthroughs you need. Many of life's greatest rewards lie on the other side of discomfort. For example, public speaking terrifies many people, but it is also one of the most powerful ways to influence and inspire others. By confronting that fear, you gain not only the skill, but also the confidence that extends into other areas of life. The same applies to taking risks in careers, relationships, or personal development. What feels frightening at first often turns out to be the path toward growth, fulfillment, and success. Facing fear is, in truth, a gateway to unlocking your full potential. Facing fears also builds resilience and mental toughness. Each time you stand up to fear, you send a message to yourself that you are capable of overcoming challenges. This strengthens your inner belief system, preparing you for even greater obstacles in the future. Instead of being paralyzed by uncertainty, you learn to embrace it as part of the journey. Over time, fear transforms from something that controls you into something that guides you, reminding you where growth is waiting. The more you face your fears, the less they dominate your life, and the more freedom you gain to pursue your true goals with courage and conviction. One of the most powerful skills a person can develop is the ability to discipline their mind. The human mind is filled with endless thoughts, many of which are negative, distracting, or unproductive. If left unchecked, these thoughts can control your actions and limit your potential. Discipline of the mind means choosing what you allow to take root in your thinking. It is about filtering out destructive beliefs and focusing on thoughts that build strength, clarity, and direction. Just as a garden must be maintained to remove weeds, your mind must be trained to remove negativity and cultivate positivity. A disciplined mind creates a disciplined life. Emotional discipline is equally important because emotions are powerful forces that influence our decisions. While emotions are natural and necessary, they can become destructive if they control us. Anger, fear, jealousy, or impatience can lead to words and actions that cause harm and regret. Emotional discipline does not mean suppressing feelings, but rather understanding them and responding wisely. It means pausing before reacting, thinking before speaking, and choosing self-control over impulsiveness. Those who master emotional discipline are able to navigate conflicts peacefully, handle stress effectively, and maintain balance, even in challenging situations. Disciplining the mind and emotions also requires consistent practice. Meditation, journaling, and reflection are powerful tools that help build awareness of what you think and feel. When you regularly observe your thoughts and emotions, you become less controlled by them and more capable of directing them. For example, if your mind drifts toward doubt or negativity, you can consciously replace those thoughts with affirmations of strength and possibility. Similarly, when strong emotions arise, you can train yourself to breathe deeply and respond calmly instead of reacting harshly. These small practices, when done consistently, develop inner stability and resilience. Furthermore, the discipline of mind and emotions plays a key role in achieving long-term goals. Success is rarely a straight path. It is filled with distractions, setbacks, and temptations to quit. Without discipline, the mind can give in to fear, and emotions can lead you astray. But with discipline, you remain focused on your vision, regardless of temporary struggles. A disciplined mind keeps you steady, while disciplined emotions keep you calm. Together, they give you the power to endure challenges, stay consistent, and continue progressing toward your highest potential. The past holds a powerful influence over our lives, shaping the way we think, feel, and act in the present. For many people, memories of mistakes, failures, or painful experiences linger like heavy shadows, preventing them from moving forward. Making peace with your past does not mean forgetting what happened or pretending it never affected you. It means choosing not to let those experiences control your present or dictate your future. When you continue to carry guilt, regret, or resentment, you drain yourself of energy that could be used to build a better life today. Peace with the past frees you from being a prisoner of yesterday. One of the first steps to making peace with your past is forgiveness, both of yourself and of others. Many people struggle to let go of self-blame, punishing themselves for decisions they made when they lacked knowledge, wisdom, or maturity. Others hold on to anger toward people who hurt them, thinking that resentment will somehow give them justice. In reality, unforgiveness only prolongs the pain and keeps wounds open. Forgiveness is not about excusing the wrong, but about freeing yourself from the burden of carrying it. By releasing resentment and guilt, you create emotional space for healing and new opportunities. Another aspect of making peace with the past is learning to see it as a teacher rather than a chain. Every mistake, failure, and disappointment carries valuable lessons that can shape a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Instead of replaying the pain, ask yourself, what did this experience teach me? How can I use it to grow? For example, a failed relationship might teach you the importance of communication and boundaries. A financial loss might teach you discipline and caution. By reframing the past as a source of growth, you transform it from a burden into a tool for personal development. Finally, peace with the past allows you to live fully in the present moment. When you stop clinging to regrets or old wounds, you free your mind to appreciate what is happening now. Many people miss today's opportunities because they are still consumed by yesterday's mistakes. By letting go, you create space to embrace new experiences, relationships, and achievements. The past cannot be changed, but your perspective toward it can. Choosing peace is choosing freedom. And with that freedom comes the ability to write a new chapter in your life without the weight of the old ones holding you back. True confidence is not built overnight, nor is it simply a matter of telling yourself to be brave. Real confidence comes from consistent action, doing small things repeatedly until they become part of who you are. Many people wait until they feel confidence before taking action. But the truth is the opposite. Action creates confidence. Each time you show up, practice, and put in the effort, you strengthen your belief in yourself. Even if the steps seem small, their repetition creates lasting results, just as a steady drip of water can carve a rock over time. Consistency is the silent builder of unshakable confidence. Consistency also helps you overcome self-doubt. When you commit to a routine of disciplined actions, you give yourself evidence of your own capability. For instance, if you want to be a better speaker, practicing every day, no matter how nervous you feel, gradually proves to you that improvement is possible. Over time, the fear lessens and your self-trust grows. Without consistency, fear dominates because there's no track record of progress. With consistency, you create undeniable proof that you can change, improve, and achieve. This proof becomes the foundation of genuine confidence. Another powerful aspect of consistency is momentum. Confidence is not a single event, but an accumulation of small victories. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you reinforce your integrity and reliability. This momentum builds energy, making it easier to take on bigger challenges. Think of it like climbing stairs. You may start with one step at a time, but as you keep climbing, you reach heights you never thought possible. That steady upward motion is the power of consistency, and it fuels the kind of confidence that lasts even when challenges arise. Moreover, confidence through consistency extends beyond personal growth. It also influences how others perceive you. People respect those who show up regularly, who can be counted on to keep their word and deliver results. When others see your dedication, they begin to trust your ability, which in turn boosts your own self-belief. Confidence is not about arrogance or pretending to be perfect. It is about showing through consistent effort that you are reliable, capable, and growing. With every consistent action, you strengthen both your inner belief and your outward reputation, creating a cycle of confidence that continues to expand with time. Success in life is often seen as something external, wealth, recognition, or achievements that the world can see. But the truth is that outer success is simply a reflection of inner mastery. If you cannot manage your thoughts, emotions, habits, and desires, no amount of external gain will bring lasting fulfillment. Inner mastery means developing control over yourself so that your choices are guided by clarity rather than impulse, by wisdom rather than pressure, and by discipline rather than distraction. When the inner world is in order, the outer world naturally follows, because your actions become consistent and aligned with your true values. One of the most important elements of inner mastery is self-control. The ability to delay gratification, to resist temptations, and to stay focused on long-term goals is what separates those who succeed from those who give up halfway. External success requires years of effort, and without self-control, it is easy to be derailed by short-term comfort. For example, an athlete who has mastered their inner discipline will train daily even when they don't feel motivated. A student who has trained their mind will study consistently even when distractions are tempting. Such mastery of self is the hidden engine that powers external achievements. Inner mastery also creates resilience in the face of challenges. Life is unpredictable, filled with setbacks, failures, and difficulties that test your patience. Without mastery over your inner world, these challenges can break your spirit, leading to stress, anxiety, and hopelessness. But when you are grounded and centered within yourself, you learn to respond instead of react, to adapt instead of collapse. This strength does not come from the outside, it comes from within. A calm mind, a disciplined heart, and a spirit that refuses to be shaken. Outer success becomes possible because the storms of life no longer have the power to control you. Moreover, inner mastery leads to stronger relationships and greater influence. When you understand yourself, you interact with others with empathy, clarity, and authenticity. People are naturally drawn to leaders and individuals who exude self-control and calm confidence. They trust those who are not easily swayed by anger, fear, or pride. As a result, mastering yourself not only elevates your personal life, but also enhances your professional and social impact. Success in any field, whether in business, leadership, or relationships, depends less on external strategies and more on the ability to govern your inner world. When you master yourself, you position yourself to master life. In the end, everything begins and ends with you. The battles you fight within yourself are far more important than the ones you fight outside. When you cultivate self-awareness, embrace accountability, face your fears, discipline your mind and emotions, make peace with your past, build confidence through consistency, and strive for inner mastery, you create a version of yourself that no challenge can defeat. Life will always bring obstacles, but the person who has learned to deal with their own self carries the strength to rise above them. Remember, the greatest victory is not over the world. It is over your own doubts, weaknesses, and limitations. Master yourself, and success will follow you naturally.